say in 3rd grade is when we first started seeing signs of development, you know, like starting for our daughter heading towards puberty in 3rd grade, towards end of 3rd grade, I think it was. So the first thing I did was get her, American Girl is a great series of books that is all about taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, your emotions, because all that kind of started right away. Like I could see mood swings happening where she wasn't normally a kid that had mood swings.
Right.
So one's talking about how you can control your emotions and how to let them out appropriately. And
you mean you shouldn't yell when you're premenstrual?
No, you should totally yell or you're going to get ulcers.
Yeah.
You know.
And does it talk about how maybe you're going to want to crave a lot of chocolate?
Does it say that? Does it say that on there? No, it doesn't. I don't think it should.
That's.
But anyway, so there's a huge lot. You can just look them on Amazon, and of course American Girl site has all the books on there too, and a lot of like Barnes and Noble kind of places sell them too. But anyway, so they had ones on caring for yourself emotionally, caring for yourself physically, and in the book where it talks about caring for yourself physically, it talks about someday you're going to start your period, you know. You might want to look through them first to see if you feel like they're appropriate for your daughter. Right. She's in 5th grade, and so this is the year that we talked to her about sexuality. And so basically what happened, we kept waiting for her to ask something. Like some kids really early on ask, and she just didn't. So I guess it was one night at dinner she said something about, I understand how the baby can look like the mom, but it doesn't make any sense to me how the baby could possibly look like the dad. But I know it takes a mom and a dad. We had a quick summit before she went in, and we had a couple of books. That one, A Child is Born, from that you probably had when you were pregnant, and it's kind of a lot of people have that book. It has pictures of a baby as it's developing in the uterus, you know. And then he decided he wanted to talk about the science part of it. And I would cover
the emotional part of it.
The emotional part of it and the spiritual part of it. And but what we felt strongly about is that we both really wanted to be there. Right. And I think my personal opinion has always been that I have a little bit of a phobia that I could die at any moment. Which of course is also true. Right. And so I've always been afraid that if both of us weren't in on those conversations, then what happens if one of the parents dies and that child is only used to talking about sexual things with the parent of their one sex, you know? Whereas I think it's more comfortable in general for men to talk to boys about it, girls to talk to, women to talk to girls about it. But I just felt like that just didn't feel right to me. I just really wanted there to be that context. And John was really comfortable with that too. And felt like we made her together. It makes perfect sense to talk about how we made her together. Yeah. You know?
So you showed that video.
That's later.
That didn't make sense.
No, when she's like 15, 16, we'll probably do that, but no. So anyway, that's how we handled it. And I was amazed at how shocked she was, because I thought it's possible she could already know a lot since she wasn't asking anything that maybe other kids knew and that she had already learned, but she was shocked and repulsed. I mean, John started talking about the science of it, and then she said, yeah, I get all that. I get all about the egg. I get all about the sperm. I don't get how they come together. And so then he had to say, well, through an act of love, Mom and Dad come together, and, he starts to describe it. And she literally just, like, sat back on her bed, like, in shock, and then looked at us, and then started laughing hysterically and said, you guys are sick! She felt really sad after the conversation because she thought that she really wanted to have kids, and she couldn't imagine that she would ever be able to have kids because that was just such a vile idea to her. And so I kind of...
you want to keep it that way for as long as
possible. So I kind of delivered it in the context of, I remembered feeling the same way about that I really wanted to see the world. Like as a kid, you would learn about other countries, and I thought, I really want to go there. And then one day someone told me that you had to get shots to go to some places. And I kind of just used the when I was ready, when I was old enough, and it was the right time for me to see the world, then I didn't care about having to have the shots. Right? You know, when you're ready, God gives you what you need to actually think of that as a really wonderful experience. And she kind of just looked at me like,
really? I'm going to have to trust you on that one.
yeah. And that's kind of basically it. Yeah, and then for like days, she would say, I just can't stop thinking about it, Mommy. I just can't stop thinking about it, you know? And
Daddy can't stop thinking about it.
I just feel like you need to deliver it in a way where this is a wonderful thing, and you're old enough to understand this information, to hear this information. You might not be able to fully take in what it means.
Process it, right.
You know, but I didn't want it to be a dirty thing, or you know? And I think sometimes when we're afraid to talk about something, which a lot of people are afraid to talk about this with their kids, you know?
Totally.
I think maybe I just wish I had started earlier, because
my dad just took us to that movie Animal House, and that kind of summed it all up for us. Yeah. There was a lot of alcohol drinking and stuff.
That's not right.
It so wasn't.
I can't believe some of the things I was allowed to watch.
I can't believe we sat through that.
I know.
Like, I mean, it was funny for us. You know, we didn't understand a lot of it, obviously, but that my dad would sit there and think that that was okay. I'm going to go get you some more popcorn, all right? I'll be right back. Yeah, so that's where I learned it.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend,
So maybe I'll just,
I wouldn't recommend that.
I was going to look at the movie again to see maybe if that was appropriate and then show it to my kids.
Well, I felt like because I had explained everything but that act.
Right.
I mean, from the time, I mean, Andy's 6, and he knows about, I'm not even 6, he's 5. He knows about periods, tampons, pads. He understands that that's a way Mommy's body cleans herself.
Right.
You know, I mean, they know so much about their own bodies that I kind of felt like, well, that's just a nugget you save till later, but I almost wonder if it's not better to learn it like a farm kid, you know, where you just sort of see animals, you sort of encounter it at the time, so it's not something that seems icky or wrong. Or
Right.
I think it's harder for a girl because I could see Hannah imagining this being done to her.
And I think Sophia too. I think Sophia would totally picture it like Hannah did, and you know.
But with a boy, it's something you're doing. But with a girl, it's something that's being done to you, even though you're participating in it, right? So I could see that would be that it could feel differently in hearing it. That no,
I ain't doing that.
Yeah. We're pretty sheltered in our school environment here. I mean, clearly because Hannah's in 5th grade and didn't know a thing. But
clearly because I homeschool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to ask Hannah if she wants to ride her bike along with me, and I'm just going to tell her. And I'm like, tell her what? And he's like, you know, the facts of life. I'm like, well, I'd kind of like to be a part of that, you know? And he's like, yeah, but, you know, I just think, you know, I think you're right. It's a good idea for me to, you know, maybe be the one who initiates that. And I said, well, you know, just do me a favor. While you're out, just ask her what she would like to know about
That's a great way to
the male-female relationship. You know, like, is there any questions that you have? And when he got home, I said, so, did you tell her? He goes, no, I didn't, because what she wanted to know was, how do you know you've chosen the right person?
Oh.
And so he goes, we had this great, like, 30-minute conversation all about how
much money they have in the bank, what kind of job they have.
Totally.
The car they drive. That's so great.
Their cleanliness habits.
Yeah. They're not picky eaters.
Totally.
What kind of television shows they like to watch, because that's important.
Are they like big game players?
Yeah. Gamers.
Do they body paint? Like for games?
Do they?
You know, when you go to...
Or do like body sounds, like, you know, like, are they musical?
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Or do they have piercings? You want to know these things.
Yeah, because you can't be surprised. You don't want to be surprised.
I don't want to be surprised.
Yeah.